Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining this morning. Shivin Bhaktan class and attentive japa. Back to UK again. Sunny last week in India. Back now to the rain and cold weather. But anyway, it's all good. All good. Main thing is the association of devotees. So we're going to make a start. And we've been talking about Lord Brahma's praise. Well, we're talking about Lord Brahma, trying to find Lord Vishnu, and he found him after doing a lot of penance and austerity, and then he still doesn't know what to do. He knows he has to do something. When Brahma sleeps in the night, when he wakes up, he's forgotten how to create the cosmos. He has some inkling that he has to create something. He has a little bit of idea, but he's not completely sure. So he prays to the Lord to give him the knowledge and to help him and support him. So today is Brahma's praise for creative energy. So this is another type of prayer that we can do. There's so many prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. Right. So searching for a clue how to render service of creating the universe, Brahma saw only Vishnu's deep navel filled with water, along with the lotus flower which emerged from it, as well as the devastating water surrounding him, the blowing wind which was drying those waters, and the sky. So understanding these to be the causes of creation, he, infused by the mode of passion, he became eager to commence his service. Still, he was unsure how to begin. Thus, he began to petition the Lord with respectful prayers. So we pray to please the Lord, or whoever we want to please. You can start with prayers, and then when they are pleased with your prayers, then you can tell them, look, please, I need your help in this matter. So please them first and then ask for help. We'll do a quick prayer as well. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kirpatam Hamande Shri Guru Dim Taranam Pram Ananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nasta Preshava Badareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. So Lord Brahma glorifies Lord Vishnu with beautiful praise, beseeching the Lord to enable him to execute his service of creation. Lord Vishnu describes how he is the very fabric of existence and instructs Brahma to always fully depend on him and thereby be empowered to do his service of creation. That part will be next week when Lord Vishnu, he responds to his praise. So Lord Brahma clasped his hands together and spoke in a choked voice 25 verses of praise. And after performing penance and meditation for many years, so this is start of his prayer. After performing penance and meditation for many years, today I am able to see you. Every living being must try to know you, otherwise they will simply waste their lives. Nothing compares with attaining your audience. Like crows attracted to refuse, people are enticed by this world. Without knowing it is but a temporary manifestation of your illusory energy. So this is how Lord Brahma starts his prayer. And then he talks about his personal form. The form I see is manifested by your internal spiritual potency and is free from ignorance. You expand yourself as Kshirodakshai Vishnu, from whom countless divine incarnations appear. You exhibit these forms in the material world for the transcendental happiness of your pure devotees. Although I am material and cannot be compared to your spiritual incarnations, I too am born from the lotus flower growing from your navel. My Lord, there is nothing superior to your personal form of eternal bliss and knowledge. Brahman is merely the rays of your transcendental body. The spiritual sky is manifested by this effulgence known as Brahmjyoti. In that sky are the Vaikuntha planets which never undergo change. And your body is also the original cause of the material universe. Therefore, I take shelter of you, O material universes, so to speak, so many universes. You are spiritual and I am material. This is evident because I am influenced by pride and foolishly think I can get pleasure from my bodily senses and mind. I don't doubt that both your personal and impersonal form are both auspicious for the universes. However, when I was meditating to know the absolute truth, you manifested your personal form. Therefore, I can understand this form is the most merciful. I thus offer my respects to you in your personal form, which is an ocean of spiritual qualities. There is nothing superior to the Lord's personal form. Anyone who thinks the impersonal Brahman is superior is foolish speculator destined for hell. Like the Mayavadis, Prabhupada says. So Lord's, then he talks about the Lord's devotees. Just as your devotees whose spontaneous love for you has awoken can never give you up, so you too can never abandon the company of such faithful devotees. This love very easily awakens in the heart of anyone who faithfully hears about you from authentic revealed scriptures recited by your pure devotees. This is because such literatures carry the purifying effect of your association through the ears into the heart. So very important to hear the glories of the Lord and hear the pastimes from the scriptures, because they are just like they are purifying, just like we're doing chanting. These hearing these scriptures is also purifying. My Lord, it is true that those absorbed in thoughts of how to maintain their family, protect their wealth, and keep up with friends and relatives experience fear and lamentation. However, your devotees are different. They never consider themselves proprietors of anything. They know that everything is yours, and therefore they dutifully serve you by hearing and chanting about you. Thus, even their worldly duties become service to you, because we put Krishna in the center, everything we do. They are never entangled by worldly affairs, even though they may work in the world like ordinary persons. But we have no attachments with anything, whether it's knowledge or it's money or it's influence, whatever there is, we offer it to Krishna and we're not attached to that it's mine. So devotees are transcendentalists, not materialists, as may appear externally. And what does it mean that devotees are transcendentalists? It means that they're not affected by the three modes of nature. They spiritualize themselves, their activities. Surrendering to the Lord. So next, Brahmaji talks about surrendering to the Lord. Everyone doesn't surrender to the Lord and become free from the cycle of birth and death, which we know. People are different stages of the life of their bhakti. Foolish people accumulate many unseen and inauspicious reactions in their pursuit of sensual enjoyment. So we will a karma account. These reactions act like a supernatural force. So people who are so much involved in sensual enjoyment, they get reactions that act like a supernatural force, preventing them from hearing and chanting about you. So whoever is so much interested in enjoying the senses cannot do any chanting or hear about the Lord, because there's a supernatural force that actually, I mean, never mind what we do, there is actually a force that even stops us. So, right, you enjoy your senses, you don't need to listen to this, which alone can free them from suffering. Their predicament is most unfortunate, says Lord Brahma. My mind is overwhelmed with compassion when I think of how much these poor creatures suffer. So he's our like grandfather, and he feels sorry for us that we don't take full advantage of our time and of our birth as a human being. They don't know how to permanently relieve themselves from miseries like hunger, thirst, severe cold and heat, illness, and other natural disturbances. Impelled by lust and anger, they simply increase their own suffering and that of others. So we just keep going this cycle of birth and death and keep suffering. And we see this suffering as a normal thing. It's part of life, and we just continue millions and millions of births. This greatly aggrieves me, but I know that through your devotee, you act wonderfully to deliver such fools and rascals. My Lord, it is true that material miseries don't affect the soul. However, while the living entity tries to enjoy sensual pleasure, he is obliged by your external energy to identify with the body and thereby experience suffering. So you experience suffering because you're identifying with this body. Neglecting to take shelter of you, foolish materialists try to solve their problems by their own efforts. They often suffer insomnia because of worries and speculative plan making. Because we're not relying on the Lord, we think we can sort this out. We spend all night thinking of ways how we can solve our problems instead of relying on Krishna, surrendering to Him. Despite their best effort, all their endeavors are thwarted by supernatural power. Even sages who renounce the world to pursue self-realization will continuously rotate in the cycle of birth and death if they neglect to hear and discuss your glories. And sometimes we think that, well, the Lord is our order supplier, so we can just ask and we shall receive. But it's not always the case because He's not our order supplier. We have to serve Him, then He will give us His causeless mercy. My Lord, anyone who serves you with the hope that you will fulfill their material desires is a false devotee. Sincere practitioners purify the hearts of such desires by constantly hearing about you from your pure devotees, who are conversant with Vedic wisdom and free from mundane desires. When they are free of ulterior motives, they become attracted to one of your transcendental forms, and you take your seat in their heart, in that form which attracts them. In this way, devotees who always hear and chant about you become fully satisfied by your grace. So the the form Prabhupada has asked us to be attracted by is Krishna's form as a cowherd boy, Shyam Sundar. Although there are devotees like the gods in heaven and also some people on earth who desire material opulence, you're not very satisfied by their worship. They are known as Sakam devotees. You may fulfill their desires for material happiness, but you're not pleased to see living beings coveting enjoyment because such infatuation keeps them bound in the dangerous cycle of birth and death. So we are enjoying our senses and our bodies, that then we are identifying with the material energy, and that keeps us bound. So I mean, it's not like Krishna doesn't want us to have any fun or enjoy. He just doesn't want to enjoy. He doesn't want us to enjoy material energy, because then we'll be attracted to it and we keep going back to this material energy. Your pure devotees, on the other hand, are neither attracted nor averse to worldly enjoyment. They are known as Nishkam or desireless devotees, who assume the responsibility of saving fallen souls. And by so doing, they satisfy you. Although you are the internal well-wisher of all living beings, you completely neglect the non-devotees who have no faith in you. Because of your great satisfaction with your Nishkam devotees, you invest your energy of compassion in their hearts and enthuse them to engage in missionary activities on your behalf. Thus, you glorify your pure servants by giving them the credit for transforming non-devotees into devotees. So Krishna, He enlightens us from within, and then we get the glory for transforming other people into devotees. Thereby, Vishnu is everyone's eternal well-wisher, devotees and non-devotees. So this is very interesting that Krishna is thinking about the non-devotees, although they're not interested in Him, but He works through His devotees, thus getting them glorified, at the same time helping the non-devotees to come to Him. So this is really good. Desiring material results, Sakam devotees are not so attracted to the activities of transcendental devotional service. They are more inclined to perform pious acts of ritual worship, charity, and austere penance recommended in the Vedas. So which at least is a start, isn't it? Because we're doing something pious, we're doing something religious, even though it's for our own benefit, but we're doing it in a religious way. We are including God in the process, so that's a start. with the aim of attaining some result. They can then either enjoy these results or use them in your service. If they offer them to you, they accrue permanent spiritual benefit, which enables them to gradually attain the eligibility for pure devotional service. So this way the scout devotees attain the Lord's full mercy. Good. And then Brahmaji talks about Lord's incarnations. I offer my obeisances unto you, Lord, who are the supreme transcendence. You always remain in your internal spiritual energy. Your all-pervading impersonal presence as Brahman can be known by applying the intelligence to self-realization. In your personal form, you perform pleasure pastimes with the external energy to create, maintain, and annihilate for the cosmos. And in your form as Krishna, you enjoy the Ras dance with the gopis. My Lord, I take shelter of you. Your incarnations, activities are supernatural imitations of worldly men. Just as a man may pick up an umbrella to shelter his family from rain, you pick up Govardhan Hill like an umbrella to shelter your devotees from Indra's downpour. If at the time of death a person remembers such pastimes, he is immediately cleansed of the sins accumulated in many births and attains your eternal abode. Your lordship is the root of the tree of planetary systems. Although you are one, you expand yourself into three primary energies: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Goodness, supervised by you, maintains the material creation. Passion, supervised by me, Brahma, causes the creation, and ignorance, supervised by Shiva, Lord Shiva, destroys it. From these three energies, you have manifested many other gods to manage cosmic affairs. Of all the universal managers, only you are not controlled by material nature. Therefore, I offer humble obeisances unto you, the origin of the cosmos. I offer you my obeisances. You advise conditioned souls to serve you. If they ignore your beneficial advice, preferring to pursue their own gratification or speculation, you destroy their plans as all-powerful time. My Lord, not only are you untiring time, but you are also the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Even though I had the planetary gods and my lifespan is 311,040 billion human years, which is just over 311 trillion years. And although I have undergone many years of penance for self-realization, I offer you respectful obeisances. Therefore, all others should follow my example. I offer my respects to you who incarnate in various species. Sometimes you appear as a human, but to think you are an ordinary man is foolish. You may even become a hog or a fish, but your form is always transcendental, uncontaminated by matter. So it doesn't matter what shape the Lord incarnates in, he's not affected by the three modes of nature. You appear for your pleasure pastimes of enlivening and delivering your devotees, as well as of upholding the religious principles you ordain. So this is, sometimes you have to do things just to get everybody all fired up, and Krishna does that from time to time, and he comes with his pastimes, just fire up his devotees, and at the same time, any loose ends on the religious principles, he brings them in order as well. So Brahmaji prayed, my Lord, while lying on your serpent bed, enjoying the pleasure of sleep amidst the violent waters of devastation, you hold all the universal planets within your abdomen. All worshipful Lord, now you have awoken and opened your eyes, which resemble blooming lotuses. I was born from a navel which also resembles a lotus flower. By your grace, I am meant to create the universe which rested within you as you slept. Please be merciful to me. You are the only friend of all beings. You maintain everyone by your six transcendental opulences. Since I am a surrendered soul, please empower me to execute the creation as before. So Lord Brahma has been praying, and he's given all the qualities of the Lord. He's talking about his pastimes and how everybody should know him and how everybody should please him. And now he's put his case forward that please help me to execute the creation. And he says, as before. So he remembers that he has done this before, but he just can't remember how to do it. Since I am centered soul, please empower me to execute the creation as before, as not to get overcome by pride in the mode of passion, because egotism is a side effect of passion. So he's admitting that you helped me before, and please help me again. So he doesn't think, oh, I did this myself, and I'm the controller, the proprietor of anything. He's just saying that it's Krishna's mercy that he's able to do this. So he just continues to pray. Finally, he says, my Lord, I know you are the actual creator. You act through your internal energy, the goddess of fortune. I am merely an assistant. Since you are the benefactor of surrendered souls, kindly protect me from the false prestige of thinking myself the creator. Help me to remember my full dependence on you. So Lord Brahma was worried that he would then he wants to remember that he's fully dependent on the Lord. He wants to completely surrender to him and remember that the Lord is everything. He's the controller and the proprietor. And he's worried that now that he's creating and so many, he's going to be in touch with so many conditioned souls now. Unlimited number of conditioned souls are going to be, he's going to have association with. So he's worried that he would contact many conditioned souls in the course of his service. And what if their materialistic association diverted his mind from thinking of Krishna? This association is very important, and he would be in association with so many different types of souls, with so many different consciousness and mentalities. You have innumerable potencies, of which I am merely one. My service is to fashion material bodies for your spiritual parts and parcels. So spiritual parts and parcels is the souls, and Lord Brahma's job is to make appropriate bodies for these souls according to each individual's karma. I pray that this will not deviate me from hearing the Vedic hymns and thus remaining fixed in truth. So he wants to serve the Lord at the same time. He prays that he doesn't fall down, just like Srila Prabhupada used to pray that hope I don't fall down. So that is humbleness, instead of being arrogant that I have achieved such a high level that there's no way that material energy can touch me. And it's been known, there's many devotees as well who, if they felt like that, the next thing they have fallen, because material energy knows your weaknesses, it knows where to strike you, and you won't even realize it that this has happened, and you can easily fall down. I was hearing from a devotee that he's currently on his third guru. It's quite shameful that if the gurus can fall down, then what hope do we have? So we have to pray to the Lord, and it's a very nice prayer that Lord Brahma is time and time again saying that please help me that I don't get attracted to the illusory energy, because he's going to use the illusory energy to create. He's in the mode of passion. He needs that mode of passion to create the cosmos, to create the universe. But he's afraid that when he's in touch with all this material energy, so much material energy and so many different types of souls, that he doesn't get bewildered by it. So it's really good. Thank you all so much, and just like to welcome you all. My father-in-law ji, Gitanjali Mataji, Harini Mataji, Rukumani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, Pratibha Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, and Sarveshriya Mataji. Thank you to the program, and would love to hear from your side what benefit you get from this, and how do you understand this, or anything you'd like to discuss. Okay, should we start with Gitanjali Mataji? You would like to say something on this? You don't need to, but if you like to say something, that's fine. Okay. I don't know if you try to unmute yourself. Okay. I don't know if Harini Mataji is available to speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna devotees. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasundubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Prabhuji, for me, the striking thing is Lord Brahma is such an exalted personality, and he himself had to surrender to Lord Krishna, to understand his purpose and, start creating the world. That just nails it for me. I mean, we are just nothing, and we have to completely surrender to him, no matter whatever desires we have. We surrender to him, then he'll show us the way. So that was the realization or understanding that I received from your lecture. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I had one question though, Prabhuji. Why did Lord Brahma create the world in the mode of passion? Because it's this kind of thing that's probably most of us are stuck in mode of passion, and fluctuating between mode of ignorance and mode of goodness. But why did he create that? That was my only question I had.
Yeah, I think it's just not as mode of because passion means activity. So
Okay.
that's why it's just called mode of passion. That's his department, creating. And for creation, you need passion.
Okay.
For destruction is ignorance.
Yeah.
It's just departments, different departments. So that's the department of when activity is known as passion. You need passion to create something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class every day on Friday, every week, Friday morning. That really helps. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for joining, Mataji. Okay. Jay Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, this is a prayer offered by Lord Brahma to Lord Vishnu, I think before he starts creation. I know we covered a lot of prayers last year, so similar to all those prayers, Brahma praises and glorifies the Lord. He pays his obeisances and respects. And I think the Lord replies to his prayers. I think he said we're going to do next week. So, I mean, there's a lot of useful points from both prayers and the Lord's reply. So only by performance of penance was Lord Brahma able to see Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who he understood to be the Lord, and he understood that nothing was more supreme than the Lord. So I'll go through a couple of points, in the prayers, just talk about conditioned souls and pure devotees. So Brahmaji says, people of this world are full of material anxieties and are always afraid. They always try to protect their wealth, body, and friends, and they are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires. So, a pure devotee of the Lord never thinks of himself as a proprietor of anything. He surrenders everything unto the Supreme Lord, and thus he has no fear. And he says, "Oh my Lord, persons who don't engage in chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoy sense gratification. So only by the grace of a pure devotee can such unfortunate people be elevated, to transcendental service of the Lord. So as long as the conditional soul sees the body as something meant for sense enjoyment, it cannot get out of this entanglement of material miseries, thus being influenced by the Lord's material energy, Maya. Non-devotees that engage their senses in troublesome, extensive work, people to work too hard, they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep. It's mental speculations. So I'll just talk about performing of pious actions, like pious activities such as charity, austerity, penances, and transcendental services should be performed with a view to worshipping that's the Lord, the Brahma says, and satisfying you by offering the fruity results. So offering of the results of pious activities on the Supreme Lord is a sign of devotional service, and is of permanent spiritual value. Whereas, doing these activities without attempting to please the Lord is of only temporary material value. So, I think Bhagavad-Gita 9.2 says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever ostensibly perform, do that as an offering to me. So that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad-Gita. So I think then Brahma goes on to praise the Supreme Lord, talks about his incarnations, qualities, activities, and so on. I think he said the incarnation we should be thinking about is Krishna as a cowherd boy, if I remember correctly. So I think the Lord can appear in whatever incarnation. I think it says somewhere, whatever incarnation that pleases you, so in front of you. I think so. It says that somewhere. Yes. And he goes. So there's all this tree, and I think you mentioned a tree, and like three parts: Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And yeah. So I think it says somewhere, you are the one friend and soul of all living entities in this world, and maintain all of us. So I think let me see what else I say. So Brahmaji, says that, I think at the end here says you're the original creator, and he's just an assistant. Okay, I'll leave you there. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. That's wonderful. There's so many points that you have made, and some of them are like connecting with what Harini Mataji was just asking. What everything we do. I was just going to say, just thinking on this, the energies, the goodness, passion, and ignorance. We can actually, as you mentioned, that we can use everything in the service of the Lord. This is the thing. Even there's nothing wrong with the three energies, as long as we use them in the service of the Lord. And passion, we can use. Passion means creativity. It's nothing bad. It's a good thing if it's used properly. It's creativity, imagination, activity. We use them to serve the Lord. Say we're looking for a temple. We have to use that passionate ability to drive forward, and then use the ignorance part of these three energies. Make sure we sleep on time, we rest properly, rest his body. So we're ready to serve again in the morning. And goodness, you wake up nice and early in the morning. You gain scripture knowledge, as we are trying to achieve. So build the Brahminical qualities. So these illusory energies of the Lord, if they're used the wrong way, then we can destroy ourselves, because ignorance energy used the wrong way, taking drugs and having addictions like that, and just sleeping all the time, that would be wrong. But we can also use them in the right way. So whatever you do it for Krishna, then it's all good. Thank you so much, Jai Prabhu. Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad Pranam Sabiko. Yes, very nice class. Thank you so much. So you picked Jai Prabhu and Harini Mataji. They just said very good points. So I'll just say, you picked on Ishavasya principle as well. So when I read it, so it does make your life so easy, and I think it helps you in devotional service when you realize that everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. So when we understand these things, it is so much easier. So we are very, very fortunate to have a Krishna consciousness. So, humble obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. So he's given us the way. And then whenever we do something, we always ask for guarantee. And Lord Krishna, he has given us the guarantee in chapter 8, text 5, Antkale Chamamev. So, we have to remember him at the time of death, and we can only do that if we are practicing. So all of a sudden we will not be able to do that. So yeah, everything, I think it was very nice class because everything was there, how we have to do the prayer. So to my head, it was coming, yes, I got to intensify my prayers to Radharani and, Tulsi Maharani, so to help us to serve Krishna better. So it was very nice. And also like it spoke about, we experience the suffering because we are identifying ourselves with the body. And then we also read Nectar of Devotion, where it tells you about Sarvopadi Vinirbhuktam. So we have to get rid of all these designations and all these material entanglements. So I think these all verses, I think if we understand them, remember them, it does, it certainly is helping me to understand things better in devotional service. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all your time and doing the classes, even when you were in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's, I mean, like I said, I learn from everybody. So very important for me that I keep learning as well, because there's two sides to it. We learn things, we gain the knowledge, and then it's so easy for us to forget that knowledge as well. If we don't practice it, then we forget it. And what we're trying to achieve is to become realized of that knowledge. Once we become realized of it, when it's embedded in our heart, then we won't forget it. But because we just hear it, and then after a bit, because we don't use it in our lives, then it's forgotten. So everything we hear that is important, that we should use it, start using it, and then it becomes a part of our life. Thank you, Mataji. Okay.
Also, Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt again. Sorry, I was thinking about, like Mataji was saying about the passion and ignorance. So like you said, yes, we need the passion. So that's how I see. We have to be passionate, to spread the name of Krishna. So we can use passion there to do everything. And ignorance, I look at it like we say ignorance is bliss. So for me, ignorance is like not to know about the alcoholic drinks or the drugs, because I don't know any names or anything. So I see ignorance in that way. So I said, right, okay, I just want to be ignorant towards that side and use my mode that way. So I don't know whether that's right understanding, so if you are ignorant about the bad things, is that, does it make sense, Prabhu? I don't know. I'm just thinking that way, so if we are ignorant about the wrong side and just we are, engaging ourselves in devotional service only.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, our job is to help people, especially people who are in mode of ignorance. We need to help them, need to give them prasad. We go out, give prasad to the homeless people, and a lot of homeless people, they have addictions. Sometimes that's why they're there on the streets, because they have mental issues as well, and a lot of them are alcoholics, that they take drugs, and sometimes recommended that we don't give them too much money because they will misuse it. So there are a lot of issues. I think we should be aware of what's going on. Then we can appreciate what we have as well. We can compare. You only appreciate light when there is darkness. So we shouldn't be ignorant to it. I think we should be aware of it, and we should know how to avoid it for ourselves. And understand there is illusory energy, and people are suffering. And Prabhupada used to see this suffering, and used to bring tears to his eyes. He wanted to help everyone, but he had limited time, so he empowered devotees. And we have 10,000 years. He's empowered people. So because we can't do everything ourselves, we do what we can, serve Krishna in the best way, and then we empower others to continue that service. And it's a disciplic succession, and he goes on, and he leave other people's, he leave a legacy for other people to continue that service. I think that's how we should look at it.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I just wanted to add that by being aware of the ignorance, we can first and foremost protect ourselves, our bhakti. So This is what I wanted
Yeah,
to add.
we should be able to differentiate between right and wrong, and then try and understand what happened to these people so we can avoid those pitfalls as well. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just wanted to check my understanding as well from the discussion. So passion is about having a good passion, isn't it? Passion for doing
Use of
devotional
passion
service.
Yeah,
In goodness.
use
Yeah.
the passion in Krishna service. I mean, if you didn't have passion, how would you go out and do book distribution, for example?
Yeah.
And you know, you have kirtaniers, you know, they sing so, you know, with so much energy.
Hours and hours.
So passion is about energy, activity, you know, it's about creativity, building things. That's, I mean, like I said, they're not bad things. They're only bad if they're misused, if they're used in the wrong way. If they're not used
Like having greed for material things can also be passion. So not have that, but have passion to serve Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you both. Thank you, Mataji as well. Thank you.
Prabhupada used to say that you should be a lamb in the temple and a tiger outside the temple. So a tiger is a mode of passion. You know, should be a tiger. Just go out and preach to the people, distribute the books. You need that passionate energy to drive forward the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya. So we need all these categories, but we just need to know how to use them properly in Krishna's service. That's all. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Pritibha Mataji, would you like to add anything? Would you like to say something? Okay, right. So we'll go on to Sareshya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Well, a lot of the points have been already discussed. I'd like to say a few things, like Brahma ji. He's one of Brahma's name is Aja. He who is unborn. Usually, people are born of material mother and father. Brahma was born directly from the body of Supreme Lord, who is known as Gavata Vishnu, plenary portion of Lord Krishna. Krishna is energetic. Everything is what we see in this world is all his energy. And that's what Brahma is saying to Krishna, praying to Krishna, that everything we see in its own energy, just like we see the sun, moon, stars, all the planets floating in the atmosphere. It's all without Krishna's energy. Otherwise it can't float. It will fall down because Krishna always is energy. So he's energetic. And Brahma and we living entities, we are his energies as well. We are marginal energy. Brahma totally surrendered and prayed to have a shelter from Lord Vishnu. And he glorified, he said, that you take incarnations to deliver the devotees and annihilate the miscreants. And one who takes your name even unconsciously will wash away his sins from many births and deaths. And he said, nobody is greater than you, even myself, Brahma and Shiva. We are your servants. And then it is said in Padam Puran that it is offense to consider the names of Brahma, Lord Shiva on the same level of Lord Vishnu, because nobody is superior to Lord Krishna, because he is Vishnu Tattva.
Sure.
And the liberation, then Brahma says liberation without devotional service can take you up to the Brahma Jyoti and to the heaven, but not to Vaikuntha planet, the Lord's abode. Brahma says people worship the demigods for a quick material benefit, which is limited. But intelligent people worship Krishna for permanent benefit. And only by the causeless mercy of Lord Krishna, Brahma could see the opulence and the beauty of his above than him. Brahma, I mean, it's a nice glorification prayers in Brahma Samhita. Any prayers we do should not be for personal benefit or desire or sense of gratification, but to the transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord. And instead of attachment to our body, that should be attached to the Supreme Lord. So it's detachment from the material thing, attachment to spiritual thing, Krishna. And it says, Anibalesta Sunyan Gyan Kramadhyamratam Anukulena Krishnanu Salinam Bhakti Uttam. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain, or fruitive activities or desire. That is called pure devotional service. And that's what Brahma is doing, his pure devotional service. And he asking Krishna to give him the energy so he can create the world. And so we can pray to Krishna if we want to do anything for to help us. And instead of going to the demigods, we should go to Krishna because he's the supreme personality of Godhead. So Brahma prayed and glorified, and Krishna was satisfied with him, and he gave him the energy to create this material world. And this material world is full of passion. So that's why Brahma is called in the mode of passion, because the spiritual world is pure goodness. So that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Prem Prakash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji, for considering my excuses for a few weeks. Actually, Aradhya is trying to go to school, and it's not actually very convenient for me to actually do both the things. But anyways, today I have some time, but I have less content. So just looking at the things, basically, we normally have in a Hindu tradition, the way we perceive is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh as a creator, maintainer, and destroyer. But here in this verses, understanding is that Brahma is praying to Lord Vishnu, who is still a partial expansion of plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, and then Lord Balram, and then how the Lord Vishnu comes. But there is no difference, because as it says that one candle lights another candle. The original candle is still original, but every other candle have the same potency. So sometimes we have a misconception that Vishnu is a plenary, Lord Vishnu is a plenary expansion. Yes, he is, but in potency, there is no difference. So he's praying to Lord Vishnu to provide, as Rishi Mataji said, to provide him with the creative energy. So although at lesser understanding, we still see that Brahma is a creator, but actually the energy is derived from Lord Vishnu. So that that is not at his level also. It is not given very easily. It's not something which by a click it's been provided. He has to do tapasya. He had for the demigods. Yes, he did tapasya for I think 10,000, 1,000 year, 10,000 year. He did tapasya, and then uh, then he was able to understand. Then he also went there, but he was not able to understand Lord Vishnu, who is Vishnu means pervading everywhere. So he was there in heart, but the mercy of Lord, although he was there in his heart, he gave him darshan. So that is quite important, that although we keep our sadhana very strong and everything, but it's a mercy of the Lord only that we can get mercy. Although we want to get away from Maya, we also want to get away from often nefarious activities and everything. We want to, even if we want to listen to Bhagavatam ji and attend such glorious sanghas, But it's just the mercy of the Lord basically who actually which enables us to attend, be part of these sanghas and actually listen to the pastimes of the Lord. Whatever we do, whatever we sadhana do, whatever effort we put in, it's fruitless until Lord has mercy on them, until Lord actually recognize it. So that's what is it is there. And Lord Brahma is then seeking the power, praying, and then he gets the power. Lord Vishnu blesses him, and then Brahma starts creating. But the important part is also to see, although he's in mode of passion, he is why he is creating passionate beings. It's not because he wants to create it because he is in passion. It's because of the desire of the jivas from the previous creation. They had unfulfilled desire and they want to be part of that particular form as a demon, as a passionate, as a materialistic person. So their desire tendencies, even they merged in Lord Vishnu. When personalists say they're merged into Lord Vishnu, wait and watch. You are going to merge immediately. They will merge immediately in Lord Vishnu. But if they are not clear of the desire or devotion service, they are going to come back with those desire in next creation. So Brahma creates those passionate beings because of the desire of the jivas, and Lord permits the jivas to enjoy those desires, and that's why he creates those things basically. But it's also seen that Lord is saying here, Brahma is saying here, that by the mercy of his devotees, he enables these jivas to come out of the cycle, this particular desire cycle, by Isava's principle. Here in Rupa, uh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually enabled Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, and all Goswamis and our Guru Maharaj basically to be as a part of rescue on the rescue mission to rescue us basically. We are not eligible, we don't understand anything. So this principle, Lord Brahma is also saying that he enables devotees to take the credit of rescuing, although it's desire of the Lord. So this particular principle is going on, and Srila Prabhupada started this mission that's going to last. And even if it's there in his books, basically, that's very important to understand that Srila Prabhupada is still there in his books and his purports. So when we read Bhagavatam Ji, when we read the translations, but it's also important to at least have a few discussion on the purpose, because that's where the devotee is there. Translations are Krishna, and the purport is a devotee, pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. So that's really what I mean, with my small understanding, I'd like to discuss almost only this thing at the moment. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Very nicely explained. Yeah, absolutely right. And you also mentioned about how the knowledge is then passed on to Brahmaji. And Brahmaji, he wants to show that I'm not doing this. I'm known as the creator, but look, the Lord is empowering me. It's not my own creation. It's Lord's creation, and I'm just an instrument. And so he gets the knowledge because the Lord is in his heart, his knowledge. And in fact, you would think that Brahmaji is woken up. He's so confused about what to do. And he knows there's somebody around me, and then he suddenly sees Vishnu. Before that, he doesn't know that there's someone who's around him until he sees. He has no idea, no clue what's going on. And then when he sees Vishnu, then how come he suddenly have all this knowledge for prayer? Just like Dhruv Maharaj, how come he suddenly have all this knowledge? Dhruv Maharaj was a child. How come he had so much knowledge for prayer? Because the Lord touched his head with a conch. And how does Brahma, who's so confused, he just woken up, he's so confused about what's going on. How come he knows everything suddenly? That's because the Lord is sitting in his heart, and he tells him, he guides him, even for the prayer. So we can't do anything. We can only desire. And he desired to pray. Just like Dhruv Maharaj, he desired to pray, and the Lord guided him. And Brahmaji, he desired to pray, and the Lord guided him. And so sweet, we can learn from this, that we don't have any control. We desire, and then the Lord helps us. And like you said, that because we had those passionate desires, then we'll get the appropriate body. And this is what Lord Brahma was thinking, that I have to This is what he does. He manufactures bodies according to our karma and our future desires, or the desire that the seeds of desires that are inside us, that we can enjoy those desires and suffer those desires and the karma as well. So we get the appropriate body to do that. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Go.
Very beautiful example is Prabhuji about Srila Ramanand Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well in the discussion. Srila Ramanand Roy explained the principle of Madhurya Rasa so well, and at the end he says that it's not I'm saying, you are making me speak.
Making
Yeah.
speak, yes.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
You are making me speak, and you are glorifying me. So that's a beautiful example of Lord Brahma and what Lord Brahma is saying over here.
This is the thing, because Lord Brahma, he is the original being, right? He's the original being, he's the first being, and then because they have learned from, he's everybody with this successive succession will learn from the previous acharyas, isn't it? And this is what we are doing. We learn from Brahmaji, we learn from Ramananda Rai, we learn from Dhruv Maharaj, from Prahlad Maharaj, we learn from them, what examples they set. This is what they're doing. They set examples so other people can follow.
Just one thing I would like to add, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, that we should our prayer should be that Krishna, please help me give desires to understand you, give me the desires to have bhakti for you, give me the desires so that I can serve the devotees of the Lord, give me the desires so that I can do the thing which is most dear to you, which is to spread your name to everywhere, to devotee or non-devotee, just by seeing that Krishna, you are residing in everyone's heart. So we got to have the desires, but we got to pray to Krishna to give us the desire which will make him happy and which will make our life successful and which will make us sure that we will get closer to Krishna in our successive births. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully said. Very, very beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've used up our time, but I don't know if everybody would like to do one quick round. Did we hear from Rukmani Mataji? Did we hear from
No, I don't think
Rukmani
so.
Mataji, maybe you could do one round for us, or if you want to say something very quickly, we can do that as well.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am ready to say something very, very little, nothing more, because you already said everything.
Yes.
So I am lucky. Only I just want to say that this spirit, we are in a material, we are in we are all with material. This material energy is very stronger than spiritual energy. We are lucky that Prabhupada has made I must say, spiritual umbrella. So we are all safe in that spiritual umbrella. So we shouldn't get out little bit out from the spiritual umbrella. Like Krishna, Bal Krishna lifted the Govardhan Parvat and he saved all his villagers and Bal Sakha. So this is just like Govardhan Parvat, this spiritual umbrella. So because it's Brahma's so many days, so many nights and very, very lengthy process, I just get confused. I like this thing, spiritual umbrella. I always remain in the spiritual umbrella and be happy. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I was thinking maybe we'll just do a quick round. Mataji, now you're on, please just do one round, and then we'll have to leave it there because time is running out. So wonderful. Okay, Rukmini Mataji, you want to do a quick round?
Okay, Prabhuji. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasdi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,